credit repair shop, I started this business first. I was helping a lot of those store owners that are in our community. These guys make a lot of money. They had overfinanced themselves, bought real estate, refinanced their stores, and they came to me and they said, well, we know that you know about credit and debt. How can you help us? And so the company was actually started helping just businesses. And then they started referring their friends and family, and so we started helping the general public. But what makes us different is that over a period of time of trial and error, working with the companies, working with debt collectors, working with the 3 credit bureaus, I put together what's called an 8-point validation phase 2 settlement system. And what it is we'll challenge any and all negative information on your credit reports, regardless if you owe it or not. A lot of people don't know that you even have that right. A lot of people don't know that TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are not government agencies. These are individual companies, and one of them is actually out of Ireland. So they send our stuff over there. So using that formula, if the customer follows what we tell them to do, they're going to be 100% successful. The trick is that you have to get them to validate the information on the credit report, and that's what our job is. Some people say, well, I could do credit myself. You know, I know the laws. Well, the 2 books, the credit book and the debt collection act, both of those are like 900 pages. And you have to know the law when you challenge that information. If you don't, nothing's going to be done most of the time. Sometimes people get lucky, but nothing's going to be done. And then, just because it's not validated by the 3 credit reporting agencies, that doesn't mean that the debt went away. So the next step that we do for our clients is that we validate with the furnisher. So if a collection agency bought a debt from a previous creditor, or the creditor is still coming after you for the money, you have a right, even if you owe the money, you have a right to get it revalidated. Now, who signed the contract here before? Did they always say, what, that small print that we never read? Remember that? The reason why is because that small print is actually protection for you. So if anything goes wrong, you have your rights within there, even though we don't read it a lot of times. But also it says in there, if they lose that documentation, they can't legally come after you for the money. A lot of people don't even know that. So if you validate, and we always do this with our clients, we validate first, because an employee could have misplaced it, whatever. That's not your fault if they made a mistake. Because if you made a mistake, they would say it's not our fault, right? So what we do is we reverse and we initiate your rights when it comes to validating credit and debt. And then if the debt is validated, which sometimes debt is validated, we negotiate on your behalf to settle that debt at a discount to save you money. Now, why should you care about your credit? Everybody knows it, but your credit is your reputation, especially with the way things are getting now, where we're close to a paperless society. So everything that we do is going to be looked at. They're going to judge it by that paper first. You can say all you want, but they're going to look at that paper. They're going to look at that credit report. Employers are looking at the credit reports now. And honestly, I don't think that that's fair, but they're using that. So we live in a credit society. Even if you want to pay cash for everything, you will eventually have to prove your reputation using your credit reports. My daughter, she went to school, performing arts in Evanston. Is it performing arts? And we wanted to get her a nice place, a studio apartment to stay in. When I went there, they said, well, we don't care if you're going to pay for all 10 months up front. That doesn't matter. we want to do a background check on you and her, and we want to check your credit. So if my credit wasn't squared away, I wouldn't have been able to get a place that I felt comfortable, putting her in. That was the first time she was away from home. Lenders, obviously, employers, business partners. You're looking at starting a business. You want to put out a plan. You got the best product. And they say, well, I don't really know you, so can I look at your credit just to see what you've done in the past? Banks, credit card companies, insurance companies. That's again where this is another money grab. Just your health is the same as another individual, but because of your credit, you pay another $50, $100 more per month. That's a money grabber, paying for the same product or service. Because your credit is bad, you're paying more than the person with good credit. Colleges, a lot of our clients, they sign for student loans for their kids, and then they needed to re-up for another student loan, but they had some issues on their credit. They wasn't able to send their kid back for the next semester. Landlords, of course, and now boyfriends and girlfriends. There's 2 websites that check your boyfriend and girlfriend out before you do anything, before you get too committed. Because, not that the person isn't a good person, but if you get together and the credit is messed up, what's the number one reason why people get divorced? Money. So it's just like you're just setting it up. You can just say, well, we both got bad credit. We're going to get together. You can just put a date on there because something's going to happen pretty soon. So credit is a huge piece of our life. And the longer you live with bad credit, the more you'll miss out on enjoying life. And a lot of people, they just say, well, I don't really care about the credit. But they really say that because they're not taking responsibility. If you take responsibility and say, I got to do something about it, get it taken care of, then things are going to happen for you that you want to happen. Now, another big difference with our company is that we understand our unique situation. Dealing with our community, there's a certain way, there's certain problems. We have customers from other communities, but in our community, there's certain problems that, because of either predatory lending or just different things that we go through that other people don't go through, that where our company is very unique on where we cater to that. It could be with the problems with payday loans. It could be the problems with evictions. There's no credit repair company that I've seen anywhere that's doing anything with people that have problems with evictions. And then this is like my little advertising statement. Regardless of what you heard on radio, seen on TV, online, or whatever, we are the only company that will repair your credit from A to Z. We're going to take you from A to Z. As long as you do what we need you to do, we're going to take you from A to Z. Now, results matter. I can talk all day, but results matter. These are actual clients. We blanked out some things. But this client had civil judgment in bankruptcy. You can see that it's deleted off of their report. They had a tax lien. Even though they paid it, we got it off of their report because it pulls down their credit score by having that information on there. These here were a couple of collections. Whenever you see stuff like CC and financial or state adjustments, those are usually collection agencies. You can see that they're deleted off of their report. Some of these will say that they're no longer on their file anymore. That's because when we do the follow-up, we want to make sure if it's still on there or not. If you can see this one was a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. This was a second mortgage that went bad. And with that gentleman, he was in, I think that's the one in California. These are 2 separate ones here. For him in California, he had a second mortgage. He lost his house. The bank sold it for what the first mortgage was for, but the second mortgage wasn't paid off. They came after him for, I think it was $15,000 or $16,000, and we ended up settling that debt for a little over $900. They were threatening his income, his job, garnishment, all types of things. We got on the phone, negotiated that settlement with him. And then these here, those are hard to see, but these were other ones where there was these are collections. The judge, this one was a judgment, and then we lead off the report. And that one there was another judgment. You can see Milwaukee County on there. We don't courthouse. What's the next one? This collection agency tried to destroy this client. Look at all of the different accounts that they flew on them. Could you imagine when someone runs your credit and you had all of that stuff that you owe? This client actually didn't have to pay any money for any of those accounts. All of them are deleted. You can see them that they're all deleted on their account. This was a client from I think it was a while back. But I remember this young lady. She came to the office. She had a Discover credit card. It went bad. They sold it to a collection agency, that portfolio. If you've ever been in trouble, that's one of the #1 debt collection companies. They bought the credit card debt. We did a full validation. It was a Best Buy credit card through Discover. We did a full validation. It ended up that she didn't have to pay the money. And I got a copy. Push the next button there. That was the original collection letter. And then this was the letter that they sent back. And I know it's hard to read, but you can go to our website to see this. I have it posted. They sent the letter back apologizing that they came after her for that and that they were going to take it off her credit within 60 days. This one just happened for a guy this year. This is Chase Bank credit card. He owed, say, over $36,000. Is that 36 or 32? 36. This is a personal friend of mine that I handled this with. He owed Chase $36,000+ on the credit card. I said, we know you owe the money. Let's try to see what we could do to get a settlement. Well, the result was a lot better because when we started doing the validation, we found out that they lost some of his paperwork that he did when he filled it. When he first got the credit card. So let's go to the next one. This is the result. Well, go back. It was hard to read, but this is actually the cancellation. You see, that says cancellation of debt. So they're not even coming after him for the money now. Yeah, there we go. Cancellation of debt. After doing the validation, after, just doing the extra steps that initiated rights that we didn't know we had. He wanted to kiss me after this. He got that and I didn't even believe it. Okay, so we work with bankruptcies, judgments, collections. Real quick, when we say bankruptcy, we're not trying to say that you didn't file bankruptcy. What we're looking for is a technicality to get the bankruptcy off of the credit report. Judgments, collections, liens, tax liens, foreclosures. When it comes to repossessions with automobiles, if an automobile is repossessed, you have a right to know what they sold it for at the auction. You have a right to get the contract from the auto dealer. Another one of the money grabbers is that they'll make you sign for some type of insurance. And a lot of people don't know. They'll repo the car, claim on the insurance, and then you're stuck with the bill. So we make sure that that type of insurance wasn't put on your contract, which they make a lot of people do when they think that you're not going to be able to pay for the car. Garnishments, we get a lot of garnishment stopped. Unauthorized inquiries, ID theft, multiple, you have the original creditors, and then you have the multiple negative accounts. That's where the original creditor kept it on there. They sold it to a debt collector, so now you're getting hit 2 times for the same debt. Late payments, charge-offs, unidentified collections. We see a lot of that. Write-offs, personal data, medical, soft and hard inquiries, misrepresentation of your data. A lot of them, if you go and fill out an application and they put your name, You know, some of us could have some names that you have a hard time spelling, and even if they look at it on the ID, they sometimes just don't write it the right way. Well, on your credit report, it'll look like you have an alias. So then when they run your report, they're like, well, she's going by this name and that name. What has she got with this name? It just lowers your credit score. That's just another way to make your credit score go down and take more of your money because your credit score is low. Some of the special services that are included with us is the debt elimination plan, where we can show you if you're interested in paying off all of your debt. I can put together a plan for you to pay it off step by step, one debt at a time. Inquiry validations. If you went out there and applied for credit and you didn't get it, and you have all of those marks on there, you go to the Kohl's department store or Target. What do they always ask you? Do you want to apply for this card to get 10% off? You get approved, or even if you get approved or don't get approved, no matter what, it's going to pull your credit score down. ID theft, we work with that. Eviction removal negotiation, where we contact landlords and we negotiate with them to get that either shown that it's paid or get it removed so the person can move forward. And that's a big one in our community. And I just went over the auto repossession, the balance negotiations, auto loan renegotiation. We just did a gentleman, I think he's in Tennessee. He was about to lose his car. We worked out a deal where he made a small payment, and then he was able to continue keeping the car. 30 and 90-day hardship deferment plans. You're struggling with all of your bills. We can negotiate with your creditors and have you not paid any payments, and it won't affect anything, your credit or anything. And then you can save up your money for 30 to 90 days and then, get yourself back in order. Stop garnishments without filing bankruptcy. That's a big one. And then stop all collection calls from calling your work, from calling you, calling your neighbors. They'll call us. They'll have to deal with us. Okay. So how much does it cost? And I guess I'll turn that around and say, how much will it cost you if you don't do something about your credit? Have that in your mind. What will it cost you? That it. We start out with a $9.95 setup charge to get you into our system, to get everything ready, and we start working on your program, your file from day one. And then you'll have access to our online portal so you can see the work that's being done for you. You'll have the personal number of my number, the office, and the rep that's handling your file. And you can also communicate with us through the portal or through email. If you don't have monitoring service, there's an additional $29 so we can get your credit reports and your credit score so you can see where you're at. And that's important. How can we work on your credit if you don't know what's on your credit? How can you know that your credit is moving up if you don't know what your scores are right now? And then after 30 days, which you usually get results depending on how much work that they're doing at each bureau, because we don't have any control over that. Usually 30 to 45 days, you'll start getting results. And then we have 3 payments of $125 starting after 30 days. And then you only have 3 payments, and then you'll have 9 months of paid service. So if it's some people, they're very aggressive with us, and they have more income and they're able to get things done faster. But some people it take a little bit of time. So that's why we extended out to be 1 year of service. So just like I said, 2 to 3 months usually to be finished. But if you have a lot, every situation is different. Every situation is different. So real quick, we're going to have a question and answer. Anybody have a question? And it could be on anything.
Is it wise to file bankruptcy and then go through this program?
If you file bankruptcy, we can only help you after 2 years. Now, we can help you make sure that everything is zeroed out on your accounts, because sometimes they don't do that. But if you in the position of have to file bankruptcy, then it would take, you have to come to us after 2 years. Now, the other alternative, which, and nothing's wrong with bankruptcy, because that's a right that we have. If you know you have the money to negotiate, then that can save a person from having to go to bankruptcy. Any other questions? What? You got a question? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have several. I was just
okay, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just sitting there thinking. When you sign up, it's not an individual if you're married, because you have to have both of them, because it's showing the credit score. I mean, not your credit score. Your information comes back to you. I always get I have monitoring service, and then it's sent to my husband, and it is sent to me.
But it's going to be 3 individual reports.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, anything that you buy between each other, or he goes to buy a car, it has to be. You have to be notified, but it would actually just show in his report unless you sign it. But then, if something happened to him because you're married, you would be responsible. But each report is individual. So yeah, so your report would just solely have everything that you signed a contract for your name for, and then his would have it too. But now, as a unit together, we know the credit reports are working together.
Right. And then the other question would be, so basically you have to go through the steps too, because he would definitely.
Exactly, and that's part of being, as a team together. When you got to fix your credit, if you're married, you both need to do it, because it's like we're getting a fresh start and we're going to move forward, and we're not going to make those same mistakes again. Did you have a question? Any other questions?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
I only have medical bills that's overdue. I mean, I'm calling me every day, or every other day about what do I do about that?
Is either yourself or a company like ours, what we would do is we would first get them to stop calling you every day, and then we would set up a negotiation. First, we would validate them to make sure you have to pay them. And even if we could just make some of them go away with a validation, that would be good. But let's just say they validate all of them, then we would set up a negotiation to settle them at a discount. And you have to get them into the position of understanding your financial situation. When they're calling you, they just have that person on the phone that just wants to hound you. Just like you're hiding money, you got money under your mattress. You got to get them into that position, and it's easier for us because it's business to business. So we're gonna negotiate with them first. We get friendly with them on the phone, and we get to start negotiating and telling them, number one, he does not have a lot of money. He can't pay all of those medical bills. So let's start negotiating an amount, even if it's 1 by 1 or 2. It just depends on how much money the client has on selling them. How long would that take? It depends on how much money. Like some clients, we had a client that just settled some. I think he had some medical and credit card. He had enough money to do the settlement all in 1 month. But we've had clients that took a whole year. Like they were like, I'm gonna pay off one bill, one bill at a time.
First question is there anything that is related to credit that you cannot or have had issues that you wasn't successful with?
If anything is validated, if an item, let's just take, for example, a bankruptcy. If it's validated on there that the court put everything on there the right way, it's going to stay on there. Then our next move is to start going to each of the creditors that show up on your report, and first make sure that they're all zeros. And then the next step is to start approaching them to get their information off. So that means that when they run your credit, they'll see that you filed bankruptcy, but they won't see that there was a car company and there was a credit card company. So then it gives you a better chance of restarting.
And the last question is, as far as your service goes, what do you guarantee the customer as far as the success of being either our credit score
goes up? Yeah, well, this is my guarantee, because I don't want to ever ruin the reputation that I've built in the community. The guarantee, we have a money back guarantee for the services. If the client comes into the office and we get the reports We know where you're starting at with your credit scores. And then as we validate and we get the information back, when we have to do the follow-ups, as long as you follow through with the follow-up, there's no way that you would be unsuccessful. Because it's just no way. The only way that someone could be unsuccessful is when they get the follow-up information from each bureau, and then we tell them what we have to do on the next step, that they're not willing to do the next step. And we're licensed and insured by the state of Wisconsin. Licensed and insured by the state of Wisconsin. And what that means is I have to give them everything about my company before they would give me the license. They wanted to know what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, and they looked through all of that. And then they have our insurance policy, which means that if I was ripping off clients and ran out of town, the state of Wisconsin holds my insurance in their name. And so we have that protection, but we've never had any clients that followed what we needed them to do when we say this is the next step, be unsuccessful.
Now, after all of that, and you have completed your 9 months after service, do you have ongoing services for customers that want to, monitor their credit?
Yeah, we have a protection service. If you stay with the $29 monitoring service, then that'll be included. If you don't want to keep the full monitoring service, it's $19 a month. So if anything comes up, if an old debt collection letter comes to your house, you just bring that to us and we take care of it for you. Yeah, be careful what you hear on the radio about those. They cannot make them go away. You cannot file bankruptcy on student loans. So the best case is to set up a repayment plan or have a certain amount of money in the future to settle that at a discount. Did you have a question?
Ms. Williams, good morning.
Good morning.
How long does it take approximately from the time you pay your $9.95 to you will actually see results?
It takes 30 to 45 days. We start on everything from day one and get your package sent out to the bureau. Now, if you can imagine, they get millions of letters each week. So they run through all of those, and sometimes they might be a lot busier than one bureau might be a lot busier than the other. Yes. But once it's in their hands, by law, they have 30 to 45 days. We get those results. And if you had a monitoring service, we get them in real time. So we'll be able to look in there and see what the next step would be. And we do that step automatically. Basically, you don't have to do anything but just, you won't have to do any documents or calling people. We handle all of that for you. But if it comes to settlements and stuff like that, that's where that follow-up process might be. Well, we can negotiate this settlement for you. And when would you be able to have the money for the settlement that we negotiate? But when it comes to validating the credit, getting the responses and doing revalidation, we can handle all of that without the customer coming into the office. And then we'll let you know that we did that revalidation. And then you'll also get in the mail, even if you have the service here, you still get it in the mail, but it just makes it a lot faster for us to be able to do the follow-up process having the money. And you have the scores, which is important. Because if you can see how your scores are moving up, then you'll feel a lot better for working. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Sweet.
I know that. Any questions on the mindset? Any questions about wealth building? All right. Well, I guess we're going to end it there. Thank you for coming out on this Saturday. And in the back of the room, the gentleman there, for anyone ready to sign up and get started.